Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're starting our first seminar section. If you're interested to know more about the parents' experience, please join us. Take a seat.
My name is Tomo. All right. Okay. And my son is a freshman at Choate Rosemary Hall.
Hi, my name is Nitu. My son is Zayden, and he's a sophomore at Blair Academy, which is in New Jersey.
Hi, my name is Tina. My son is Brian. He is sophomore, grade 10 in Episcopal High School at Virginia.
So, first question, and later you guys can feel free to ask questions. So, first question is, why do you choose to send your child to boarding school? Do you want to start?
So, we were never really thinking about boarding school for our firstborn son because we are PRs that live in Singapore. But this is his first year at Blair as a 10th grader. So he did 9th grade at one of the international schools here in Singapore. And we realized that it was probably going to be easier for him to go get into the dream college of his choice from a boarding school. And the boarding school gave him more opportunities to shine and really discover who he was. And so it was one of those decisions where we realized that high school wasn't all it was cracked up to be here in Singapore. And we made this decision, and we're actually very, very happy that he's now a 10th grader in boarding school in America.
Our experience may be different. We just planned for the boarding school. We came from China, and our boy was in Singapore American school for his middle school, and we deliberately planned for boarding school because number one, I think that for a boy, I feel like you need to build a character. And I feel like U.S. environment can build a boy more like a young man. Secondly, also want him to have an early taste of American culture to see whether he really like and not for his campus life and the future. The third one is also, I think, overall the boarding school in U.S. can prepare him better for campus.
In our case, I'll say that it was not our choice. It was 100% our son's decision. It started from him attending at the summer program last year. And when we went to pick him up after the 5-week program, the first thing that he said was, "Oh, this was too short. I want to go to the boarding school." So since neither of me and my wife had any education background outside of Japan, we had absolutely knew nothing about boarding school. So we did a little bit of our own research, and after having a bit of knowledge, we asked our son to convince us, and then he raised some points which were actually all listed in our thoughts of. The thing that he raised as the reason wanting to go was all included in our list as well. So it was not like he just wanted to live apart from us or just like US or something like that. It was a valid point. So then we decided, oh, why don't we give a try? And that is how we made a decision.
Yeah, since you have the mic, right? Maybe you can also share how did you find the right fit? How do you find the right school?
The first step was pretty simple, pretty basic. We just listed up what we think is important, what is the priority. In our case, the school location or the school size was something, and also the school culture, which was probably the most important for us, and also for our son, the athletic program was another one important for him. And we narrowed down the list. And that was the first step. And after that, we visited all the schools. And this part is probably the most important. You will, no matter how much you read the websites or social media you look at, you will never get the real feeling. You have to visit the school when the students are there. One mistake that we did is we visited a few schools in the summer, during the summer break, empty, beautiful campus, but we didn't get any feeling. So to make the final decision was to really visit the school and talk to as many students you can and the admission officers. That is how we basically found who is going to offer the right thing for us.
Thank you. So I want to move to Tina because the two boys only started boarding school not too long ago, but Tina is the most experienced boarding school mom. So how have you noticed your son change after boarding school?
Actually, I want to say that we feel like there are many changes from the boy, including like the maturity, independency, also how resilient he can handle the challenges. I mean, every life, just like daily life, always have conflict, including some small conflict with your dorm members, with your classmates, just different style. I feel like the way he can handle the challenges are much more mature. Also, I want to say that I feel like he become much more like aware and also inclusive as well. Like I went to US sometime. I probably less kind of aware of the something. He always pointing to me, Mom, you need to be careful, okay, of the word, of the way you just like behave. I think very mature and certainly very independent. I mean, I never need to worry about his life or I don't think he has. I mean, at least I never received any call from the school of the issue. Also, one more thing is about discipline. He told us that he feel like he has to be more disciplined because he's accountable for all the result, including the consequences. So it's very different from living next to you and you just feel like shared accountability. I found the accountability part that helps a lot to be more mature. The last I feel very important for the boy is need to be tougher. I feel living in US, you have to learn to be a little tougher rather than softer. And we certainly see that. Yeah, we don't have a whining boy, and it's good.
Nitu, do you want to share how do you stay in touch with the boy? What kind of support is he getting from the school and the community?
So there's this misconception that when your child goes away to boarding school, that you're going to lose them. But I actually feel a lot closer to my son. It's only been, we dropped him off in September, but I feel like he messages us a lot. He calls us a lot and still is asking for our help and guidance. So this weekend, he's at MUN in Virginia. His school is in New Jersey, so they just drove over to UVA. So he called us and said, oh, we're on our way. Or when there's a soccer game or anything like that, we still feel like our son is close here at home to us and not far away because we are part of the excitement. And the community building is really good. They had a parents' weekend. I just returned from the US. I'm sure you guys all went for your parents' weekend. So they really tried to involve the parents as well and build that community and make it so that, especially us as international students, it's a bit harder. Like your kids aren't coming home for the weekend or, for every long weekend or holiday. And there's an adaptation stage where you really need to, your child needs to learn that and you need to also be aware that they're not going to be around you. But I don't think that it generally draws you further apart. I think it's brought us close together and we're really focused on the next steps and, where he's going.
Consumer Daddy, Tina, yes.
I like to, I want to share one more point on this topic as well. Every kids are different. And boy and the girls are also different. Every boy also different as well. So I see kids will change over the time when they get older. They will rely on you less. I would like to suggest you set some rules. Like we talk at least once a week or twice a week. So we have the rules like what time of the week they need to call us. And we want them to feel like family is important because when they later get a lot of fun, like parties or things, they will start to forget the things. So I would suggest parents set the rules, but also manage your expectations as well.
Speaking of setting the rules, that's what we also did. Initially, we set the rule for him to give us a call every morning before he goes to the dining hall. The hidden purpose was to make sure that we check that he's waking up in the time, but that became a routine. So it's just like a few minutes walk to the dining hall, but he always gives us a call. And when we want to speak longer, of course we may speak in the in the weekend. We feel we are quite well updated. We are very updated about his soccer games, his friendship. We even know somebody's girlfriend or whatever. So we are quite well updated. So we are staying. It was much easier to stay connected, to be honest.
All right. So my last question, right? So let's say if we, after hearing your advice, we want to apply to boarding school, what kind of preparation do we need to do? How do you help your student to get ready, both in terms of the application as well as getting ready for going to boarding school?
So I think the key thing here is for your child to take ownership. As parents, we need to guide them and help them with their application. But if they want to go to boarding school, it's a very independent. When you're at boarding school, you have to be independent. It shouldn't be the parent doing the application or the parent doing everything else. It's a parent-child process, and children need to be accountable and also take that leadership role and getting their applications done. Of course, as parents, we're going to help them. We're going to guide them and do everything, but that's a piece of advice. Otherwise, they won't own the decision. It won't be their admission or their rejection. It'll be yours. So make sure they are owning the process as well.
Yeah, I'm totally on board with this one. I agree that. So make the kids feel like why. Ask a lot of why. Sometimes they don't know why. So that's the time I brought him for campus visit and also join some summer programs. I think the summer program my son joined in Exeter for 5 weeks make him really feel like I want to go. Because this is the life I want to have. This is the resource I like to be around. This is the kind of level of the kids I want to be around as well. So make him to feel, because kids still young. They don't really can articulate everything in their mind. Invest in school visit in person. Invest in some summer program. Make them feel like they can own that one. And also, I want to say the preparation itself is a very valuable journey because they have to be pushed and learn and prepare a lot to face the interview, everything. So no matter the result, I feel like the preparation is very worthwhile.
I 100% agree. Like, the question. There was a question about like what is the change that you observe after your kid is at the boarding school, but you will actually start to see your kid growing during the application process. So, for example, my son was not necessarily the best communicator, especially to the adults. So whenever he was asked questions, it could be like yes, no, or just a word. But obviously, it's not gonna work in the interview process. And to make the boarding school life itself easier, you should, you should effectively use adults as a resource. So you have to be you should be able to comfortably approach to them. So aside from all the SSAT or essay interview preparation, we actually try to make more occasions for our son to interact with adults during the process and before he went to boarding school, so that he can be more comfortable with interaction with adults.
And I just wanted to reiterate what was said here. Definitely do a long summer program, preferably at a boarding school if your child is not already in the 8th grade, to get them used to that boarding life and see if they're actually ready for it and they like it. My boys have done Exeter and my younger one has done Andover. We also did Johns Hopkins, CTY, to get them the taste of that boarding life because they just might not be cut out for it. And that gives them the idea. So definitely do a summer program to see if they're ready.
The real school life and the summer program life is slightly different. But if you
taste,
if
right?
you don't like
Yeah.
the summer program, I don't think you will like
Definitely
the real boarding life. Yeah. So trying the summer program I agree, it's a good thing to do.
Yes, exactly. We want to see if any question.
Sorry, hi. Thank you so much, first of all. Which grade do you recommend the kids to do the summer program? End of 7th grade or end of 8th grade?
For the summer program?
We did 7, rising 8, basically the year before we start to apply. I feel like I agree all of that, and I also think it's a small cost to try if your kids can really fit into the U.S. and boarding environment. So we did in grade 7 summer.
So we actually did Rising 7th. We did CTY, John Hopkins, that's a 3-week program. And then Rising now 8th. So my son here who's applying for next year, he did Andover, Rising 7th to 8th. Yeah, he's correcting, but that Rising 7th to 8th. So yeah, so definitely what we're saying is that before 8th grade, they should definitely try out a boarding school summer program. There's a ton of them. Andover, Exeter, Choate, Hotchkiss, all of them have it. Most of the boarding schools have it. Especially your number one choice, try to go to that one.
Yeah, our son also did in the Rising 8, and I think that is probably the best timing. There was younger ones, but most likely I think they're gonna do it again. But Rising 8 is probably the best timing to do.
Any other questions? Hello? Questions? Okay. So we are into our last 3 minutes of this section. So I guess we can share any last advice for students or parents, any one thing that you can share for them before they embark on their boarding school application.
Okay, I can start. I think it's important to pick the right school. Focus less on ranking, focus on what's right. Then help the kids to be pushed enough, but don't kill them. Help them to feel like warm, embraced, so they can feel like comfortable, because in the end, the school, they need to live for 4 years. After that, just trust your kids. They are much stronger and really independent more than you think.
I think I agree with that too. It's about finding the right community, because realize that school is now your child's extension of your family, right? So it's where you feel you belong, where your children feel they belong. We're international parents, so obviously that is their life. So make sure they feel comfortable, and I highly recommend visiting the school before you accept, because you want to make sure that you're comfortable and that you get a good feel for it.
I think most of the things are well covered. Just to add, as she already said it, but the project has to be owned by the kids, so it shouldn't be enforced by the parents. So the application process itself can be a little stressful, because you still have your own school thing, and on top of that, you have to do lots of preparations, many essays. So make sure that it's driven by, the decision is made by your kid.
Okay, thank you very much. Feel free to ask questions one-on-one if you have more follow-up questions, and we'll see you in 10 minutes for the next one. Yes.